Here's 5 tips that every photographer needs to know. I've been doing photography for 7 years now, so I've learned a lot over the years, and here's my favorite 5 tips that I really think that every photographer needs to know. So let's just hop right back into this. Tip number 1 is you do not need the best gear in order to get quality photos. Some of the gear right now for photography stuff is just very unnecessary. All of these companies are trying to push you to buy the newest and the best gear, and it is just not necessary at all. Some of these cameras have like 60 plus megapixels, and who even really needs that, honestly? Unless if you are a professional and you are shooting like some sports stuff, but it is just not necessary for the normal person. The camera that I've been using for the past like 4 years now is my Sony a7 III, and now that camera costs like around $1,000 for a used one, which is way better of a price compared to these normal cameras, which is like $3,000 to $4,000, if not more than that now. But yeah, before I had the Sony, I actually had a Canon 80D, and it isn't even a full frame camera. It was a crop sensor camera, and I was still able to get some really cool photos with it. So it really doesn't matter what you are shooting with, it's more about how you are taking the photos. In terms of videography though, there is a big difference, and you definitely should try to get a good quality camera if you're trying to get some video camera, but for photos it really doesn't matter as much. Tip number 2 is to actually go out and shoot alone. So I know you can actually learn a lot by going out with a bunch of other photographers and shooting with them, but don't rely on just shooting with other photographers. There's so many of my friends that I know that only go out to take photos with their friends or with other photographers, and they end up only going out maybe like twice a month. If you're only shooting twice a month, you cannot get great at photography. You need to be going out and taking photos almost every single day in order to actually improve your skills. And that comes with pretty much anything else in life. You need to practice in order to get actually really good at what you want to do. That transitions into tip number 3, and it is consistency. So going out and taking photos every single day will always make you a better photographer. It doesn't really matter on where you are shooting and what you are shooting, as long as you are going out and taking photos, you are going to get better. Some of my favorite photographers actually shoot just very normal stuff like neighborhoods and just normal stuff like that, and they still do create crazy good photos with it. So you definitely do not need to be going to these crazy locations in order to get better at photography. Obviously it helps, but if you want to go out on a trip or something just to take photos, you have to be really good to take those photos. When I started doing photography, I missed so many good photos when I was going on these trips just because I did not know exactly what I was doing. So I really wish I practiced enough in order to get the photos that I wanted. Tip number 4 is you can't turn a bad photo into a good photo just by editing it. Obviously, there's some stuff that you can do that will make the photo better, but I would highly recommend getting the photo in camera when you are there, because it is so much easier doing it that way. In order to get the perfect photo, sometimes you need to be there and just chill in there for a little bit, just waiting until you get the perfect condition. Every single time I've been out there and just sitting there and waiting for the perfect conditions, I've always been able to get better photos. And what I mean by getting perfect conditions, I would recommend by going out and taking photos at golden hour or at around sunset. It's the best way to actually get good photos rather than trying to shoot anything during the day. I know you can still take good photos that way, but it is way easier to take photos at golden hour or even blue hour. Okay, tip number 5 is a really huge one to any new beginner photographers, and that is organization. So I'm going to show you what my organization looks like on my hard drives, and I'll show you how you should be organizing your photos. When I started doing photography, I just had a bunch of SD cards that are filled up that were just sitting there, and I had no idea how to organize my stuff. So I would highly recommend doing this as soon as possible if you haven't already. So as you can see right now, this is how I organize my photos. I'm missing a year right here because I have that on a actual bigger hard drive where I have every single one of my photos that I've ever taken on that one. This one is another one that I also have a backup with. These first ones right here, these are by the year on my raw photos. So I'm gonna go right here and go to one of these ones right here. And as you can see, it is organized by the year, the month, and the shoot. and then you can see all of the different RAWs that I shot on that shoot. And it is way, way, way easier to do this than to just sift around all of the photos that you have shot before on either an SD card or just a hard drive that you have not organized yet. So as you can see right here, I also have the exported photos organized by the exact same way as well. It is super, super necessary to do that if you haven't done that already. I actually found this way to organize my photos by a video from Carl Shakur, so I will drop that down in the description if you want to check out that. But yeah, that is 5 of my favorite photography tips that I have learned over the years. If you guys have watched the entire video, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.